Washington.
Thank you, David. Weeks ago, Republican Senator Gordon Smith of Oregon said this about the situation in Iraq.
I, for one, I'm at the end of my rope. When it comes to supporting a policy, that has our soldiers patrolling the same streets in the same way being blown up by the same bombs day after day. That is absurd. It may even be criminal. I cannot support that anymore.
Last night, Senator Smith called the president's pitch a Hail Mary pass for a Iraqi also is called Senator Tate Kennedy's proposal for Senate approval or disapproval of Bush's plan a good idea. Senator Smith welcome to the program. You know, I keep going through this list, Senator, of Hagel, and of course, Voinovich, we just heard from him. and you and Collins and Coleman and Murkowski uh, and Brown back the number grows of senators openly concerned about this policy. And that's not even to mention Sessions Alexander Sununu Domenici Enzi Chambliss all with serious questions as well. Where we stand with the Republican caucus in the Senate right now. The president plan to escalate by 20,000 troops.
Well, I didn't realize that at the time Chris, but the speech that I gave really broke the dam of um, Republican frustration. That many of my colleagues have been feeling. And I do think it is is time for the Congress to reassert itself and try and more narrowly focus our efforts, the American efforts in the war on terror. I have grown to believe that there are nice things to do and there are essential things to do. What we have to do as we fight the war on terror more intelligently is to keep the mechanisms of the state of Iraq from falling into the hands of Al-Qaeda or Iran. And I'm not proposing an attack on Iran. But all of the nation building that we have been doing, frankly, I have concluded that it is Iraq's nation to build. Our military, as Rumsfeld designed it, is great at knocking off tyrants and taking out terrorists. But in terms of nation building, our slimmed down military is not equipped for this. And frankly, the roots of the problem in Iraq are so deep, so ancient, the culture so different, that this is something they're going to have to solve. And we don't have enough blood and treasure to expend to do that. And I believe the president, with the very best of intentions, and please understand, I pray he's right and I'm wrong, but I think all history, as my evidence, says otherwise.
Senator, I was taken watching the president last night with this terrific notion that the president of the United States has a very, almost terrible view of the world right now. He was telling Brian Williams and Tim Russert and the others on Background yesterday that if they saw the world as he saw it, they'd be terrified as well. He seems to have a horrific notion of the forces facing us over there, the need to go over there and stand our ground, in fact, to clean up the streets of Baghdad, even if it means big American casualties. Has he got a different view of the world than you do?
Well, he sees more of the intelligence than we see as senators, but the intelligence that we see is very scary, so I don't fault him in that. But frankly, I see the focus for America as being different than he sees it. What I was speaking to is the frustration of nation building in Iraq when this Sunni-Shia conflict has been going on 4 times longer than America has been a country. And the idea that we can solve this or police this, to me, is a needless expenditure of American life and limb. But I do want to say that our effort to date in the larger war on terror, and Iraq being one of those battlefields, we need to focus on who the real enemy is. And it's not the work of the street cop. It is our taking out jihadists who would bring chaos into Iraq or export it to neighbors or to our country. What we did in Somalia the other day is the way we ought to be taking on terrorism. On our terms, with our technology, with our firepower. These are the real enemies, but frankly, we cannot want democracy for Iraq more than Iraqis want it for themselves. And it's just that simple. So I would like to see Congress assert itself in a way to narrow and refocus the war on terror. I'm not saying get out of Iraq. That's what I hear a lot of the Democrats saying. I'm saying we have some larger interests and we can't lose focus on those larger interests.
Thank you very much. Republican Senator of Oregon, Senator Gordon Smith. Thank you for joining us on Hardball.